Hey guys, so I'm excited to do a Draw My Life. I love sharing things that I've overcome and just things that have made me who I am. So I was born to a perfect mother with perfect curls and a perfect father with a super humorous attitude, and then they had me and life was perfect, but not really. So there's this funny guy and he's my dad, and he had two daughters named Olivia and Janae from his first marriage, and my mom, who actually had really crazy curly hair, had my sister and my brother from her previous marriage, Shyla and Garrett. Then they got together, then they had me, and then life was perfect. Not really. So they got married after they had me, and then they got a divorce. So my little years, I don't remember very much until about kindergarten. I moved schools all the time, but then I got to go to school with my cousin Jason, who we were pretty much like brother and sister, and actually everybody thought we were twins, but we weren't. And by second grade, my grandma came into my life because my dad couldn't really be around that often, and she stepped in to help take care of me. And let me tell you a little bit about my grandma, because she is an amazing person that battled polio, survived breast cancer, got a full ride scholarship to Stanford, owned a nonprofit to help children with drug-abused families. She was a nurse, and most awesome, she helped raise me. She was also divorced from my grandpa and had a little bit of depression issues, which was weird because she was so amazing. So I pretty much grew up in two different houses, but at my mom's, we changed houses all the time. We were just always moving, but at my grandma's house, by second grade, we had the same house, I was in the same school, and I actually got a dog named Charlie, who was pretty much my best friend. And my grandma really encouraged me to write, and she really struck a chord in me to love writing. But my sister Olivia and Janae from my dad, they weren't really ever around because they were always at their mom's house. But at my mom's house, there were always tons of people coming over. My mom was always in a band, so there was always music playing. And I can remember staying up super late with my brother playing Super Mario Brothers. And it was just a really interesting time, but it was always fun. And my sister and my brother and me lived there, and they'd leave sometimes and come back to go to their dad's. But one time my sister got really mad at my mom, and she left because they just couldn't handle each other. She went to move in with her friends, and my mom found a man named Jay who was pretty cool at the time. He had a guitar, and he would always be playing, and they'd be playing music, and they decided to get married. So in sixth grade, we moved into a house, and my brother would be there sometimes, and it was pretty fun. But at my grandma's, I would stay there every other week, and on Fridays, we would have sleepovers, and I would have people watching TGIF. But in sixth grade, I really got boy crazy. I just wanted to kiss all the boys. I don't know, they were just so interesting to me, and I also got in fights, which I don't really understand why. But I did have two best friends named Chelsea and Lauren, and me and Lauren, we were really, really short, and everybody liked to say that all the time, which we were like, we know. And then my dad thought that I should move schools so I could get different friends, and I didn't really understand, and I cried a lot, and I just was really mad. But middle school was bigger, and he actually told me I had to go to summer school to make friends, and that wasn't really cool because everybody already had friends, and they were really tall, and I was really short, and everybody kind of always asked me why. I didn't know. But seventh grade was a little bit better. I thought it was going to be the same, but a girl named Kristen saw me and recognized me from summer camp, and we were instantly best friends for the entire year. We even took media production, which we got to transfer video from tape to tape because we're old. Yes, and my friend Chelsea, who I hung out with in sixth grade, asked me if I wanted to start going to youth group, and that was really fun. Every Wednesday night we would go to youth group, we'd sing songs, and one time we were like, we should make a promise to God, and I was like, yeah, we totally should. Let's not have sex till we're married. So I went to my grandma and I was like, hey, Granny, and I was actually a little bit bigger now, and I was like, I want a promise ring, and she's like, here you go, and I was like, thanks, Granny. Well, I called her Grandma, but you know. So 8th grade came, and I entered drama, which was super exciting. My drama teacher loved me and cast me as Cupid, which was kind of weird, and I thought I was going to be a star, and I was so excited, and I actually met one of my best friends that I still have today, Micheline. We were drama stars, and we were BFFs, and we pretty much spent every day together that summer between junior high and high school, going to the water park and just hanging out together. We were inseparable. And then high school came, and it was freshman year, and I met two amazing girls that are still some of my best friends, Michelle and Stephanie, and we were the three amigos. Me and Michelle were also boy crazy. Stephanie not so much. Then I also entered drama in freshman year because I was going to be a star, and I was so excited until Mr. Cody, my crazy drama teacher, stuck me in the corner and called me no Talentville, which kind of made me sad and mad all at the same time. So 10th grade came, and Michelle and I were still best friends, and we were like, hey, let's try something new. Boys? And she's like, nah, no boyfriends. So we were like, hey, no boys. But then this boy named Dustin caught my eye, and he was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, ew, go away, no boyfriends. And Michelle was like, Tamia, you're not supposed to talk to him. And he was like, hey, I'm super funny. And I was like, ha ha ha. And I was like, but do you love God? And he was like, no. And I was like, And Michelle was like, no, you are not supposed to have a boyfriend. And I was like, but he's really funny, Michelle. And look, he's got a best friend named Nick. And so we broke our promise, and we ended up having boyfriends. And by that summer, we all would hang out, and we would have the most awesome summer. And I actually got a pizza job, which I really was excited about until I realized I really did not like working at pizza. And then something really sad happened, and Nick actually passed away at the end of the summer, right before junior year, and decided to go to heaven. And we were kind of left alone for a little bit and didn't really know what to do. And when junior year started, it was kind of awkward because we were really sad, and it's not something that teenagers should have to deal with, but we made shirts that had Nick's picture on it, and everybody just missed him a lot. And it actually made it kind of awkward because Dustin started football without him, and I was always with him, and Michelle didn't really know what to do because it was kind of awkward. We felt like something was missing, and Michelle started hanging out with some other friends, which made me sad in a way because we weren't always together, and I was always hanging out with Dustin's friends who were actually really mean, and I didn't really like them. So senior year came, and Dustin was gone, and Michelle had her new friends, and I was kind of alone, but Stephanie was still there, so me and Stephanie hung out pretty much every day and became just amazing, inseparable friends at all times. So something really sad happened in the middle of my senior year as well. My grandma actually ended up passing away from a stroke, and my mom and stepdad's marriage just started going downhill. And Dustin started getting addicted to video games because he was in EMT school, and I just had really nobody to talk to and nobody to pay attention to me, I guess. But my sister, who I actually started getting attached to, moved away to Utah, and I really just felt alone. But I got a job at the gym and worked with kids, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I could really just escape. And then something cool happened. I actually graduated, which was something that I actually never thought that I could do. Weird. Then the summer came, and things got even more chaotic. My mom and my stepdad decided to get a divorce, and my mom moved out the day before I started college, and I didn't have anywhere to go or anyone to be with, and I walked into college a broken teenager at 17, not knowing what to do, and I was really grateful that Dustin's family asked me to move in with them, but I wasn't on the best terms with him, so I just kind of reluctantly moved in because I had no other place to go. So I was working at the gym, and I got another job at another gym, and I was going to school, and I'd pretty much come home just to sleep, and I was so tired, but I was trying to work my fears away, and I actually started nannying for my sister, which was actually really fun. But I saved up enough money to start renting an apartment, and my mom actually moved in with me as a roommate. But times were crazy, and I drank my sorrows away, I guess. I started partying with my best friend from babyhood, Kayleen, and we would just go out all the time and be exhausted all the time. And my sister got pregnant with her third kid and wanted to move into my apartment, and I was like, no, there's not enough room, but I'll move out so you can move in. And I moved back in with Dustin and his family, and I wasn't really happy about it because we weren't still getting that along. So we decided to get our own place just to get out of people's hair, house of our friend's mom's house, and rented the room with our dog Callie. And I continued to party all the time because Dustin was working as a paramedic, and he was gone 24 hours a day when he would work, and so I had nobody to pay attention to me, and I found comfort in other people and wasn't very faithful to Dustin at all in that time and would just party. But we decided that we were going to try to work it out, and Dustin started a pool business while he was working as a paramedic at the same time. But I got pregnant, and I was kind of devastated because I was still in school, and it made Dustin happy, and it made me really mad. So I said bye, and I told him that I was going to go to Utah to stay with my sister, and it didn't really work out that way. I got bigger and a little bit more depressed and realized that I just needed to work on building a family with him, but he was still working as a paramedic, and the best thing that could have happened to him was he met a lady one time who her kids got hit by a car, and she was really sad, and she was praying, and Dustin thought she was crazy because she was okay with the fact that her son was going to heaven, and he just couldn't fathom it. So he came home one day and he asked me, "Do you believe in God?" And I said, "Yeah." "Do you want to go to church?" And he said, "Sure, I guess." And so we walked into our church that we still now go to, and he looked at everybody as if they were really weird because they were all holding their hands up and saying hallelujah and praising somebody you couldn't see, and he thought they were weirdos pretty much. But he really got it in his head that he could probably be loved by God. So we moved out of our little room on top of our house and moved into an apartment because we were about to have our first baby. And we moved in, and I was pregnant, and we had a beautiful little red-headed crazy little girl named Landis. And then after we had her, we got married and we bought a house, and we were living the American dream finally. We had a cute little house with a big yard, and I started staying home with Landis, and it was just fun until I realized I didn't really have much to do, and I didn't really have any friends that had kids. And so I started crafting a lot, and that was kind of fun, but I still didn't feel like I had a true purpose. But one really cool thing I had was my cousin who I grew up with was actually in Iraq and married one of my friends from high school, and she was about to have a baby, and I got to be her labor coach. So we have kids that are the same age. So we were still going to our church, and Dustin thought we should really start serving, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. So where should we serve? And we thought about doing junior high, which was really cool because he got to do the 7th grade boys and I got to do the 7th grade girls. And we also made a lot of new friends because there were a lot of couples that also served in junior high. So we had friends now. But then I got pregnant with my second child, and that was super exciting because we were actually trying for that. And the junior hires were really fun to have around when that time was happening. And I also joined the worship band, and that was kind of cool. We were thinking that we really needed a marriage group to just work on our marriage and have some time together. So we decided to make one at church, and we actually gained a ton of new friends. And then at this time, the junior hires were actually about to move up to high school, so I gave it a little bit of thought and realized that I would have really enjoyed moving up with them, so I started doing high school ministry. And then one day, my sister came to me with Dave Ramsey's Debt Free book, and I was like, I wonder if we're in debt, not really knowing. And I was like, Dustin, are we in debt? And he's like, we're not in debt. And I was like, is that a paintball gun you just bought? And it's a really long story, but he was like, no. And I was like, yes. And he was like, no. And then I realized we were in a ton of debt, and we got a little bit overwhelmed because we weren't sure if we could get through it. But we started adding up all the numbers, and we also put in a pool, which was another $35,000 in debt. And even though our American dream seemed to be real, we decided to get out of debt. So I was like, what can I do to make some money? Let's start a daycare. And then I was like, holy crap, no way. That is not how I'm going to do it. So it was kind of frustrating, but we really decided that it was time to short sell our beautiful little house. And we knew that with God and with each other, we could do it. So we were like, let's do this. But we didn't realize it was going to take 4 years to get out of debt completely. And 4 years later, we were completely debt free. And in that time, we moved a few times to try to save some money and figure out what we could do. And Dustin started volunteering in high school a lot more than me because it was kind of hard for me to stick around with 2 kids. But another ministry that I started doing was I got called to go to Africa, and I did, and my heart was partly left there. But when I got back from Africa, Dustin bought me a DSLR, and it was one of my passions to take pictures, so I started taking pictures of literally everything. And then Dustin was like, I really think I should sell my business right after we became debt free. And I was like, I guess. And it took a little bit of convincing, but he is now enrolled in seminary and is a Bible student. But it's in Michigan, so he has to fly there about 3 times a year, and it's a lot of toll on me. But my photography has taken off, and I take pictures of literally so many people that have blessed me with the opportunity. And a couple years ago, I started venting on YouTube about my life because it was my way of journaling, but people were kind of really rude. So I closed my laptop and walked away from it for a little bit. But I decided to come back and revamp my channel as a DIY and use all my crafting abilities and so much stuff to share with you guys. And it's been really fun, and I've enjoyed watching it grow. So we are all just pretty much working the life, and I realized my kids were in school, my husband was in school, and it was time for me to go back to school. And that's where we are today. I am a happy pastor's wife, and Dustin is now the pastor of our college ministry and still in school. And our kids are both now in school, and we are just one big debt-free student living family pretty much. And I am just not sure what's going to happen with the rest of our lives, but we've gone through the ringer and we don't know where we're going next, but God does, and that's all that matters. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys subscribe. I love sharing my life with you guys.